whey protein is only for people who work out, and I think I know the answer.
Whey protein is a very high quality protein, as I said. It's a complete protein, it's a fast protein. It is excellent for growing children because it helps in muscle growth, recovery, and overall growth and nourishment.
They say children keep you on your toes, and they're right. Sometimes it's because there are tiny play blocks all over the floor, and sometimes it's because you don't want to wake them up. But the rest of the time, it's because being a mom is the most wonderfully rewarding adventure that there is. Parenting moments are all around us. Whether it's at the park, during school pickup, scrolling through social media, we're surrounded by snapshots of what children are doing. So it's natural to have that occasional thought, I hope that I'm doing everything right for her to grow to her fullest potential. It's simply human nature to care, or if I may say, it's a mother's instinct. Is he growing the way he should? Is she strong enough for her age? Should they be running faster, jumping higher, climbing sooner? So, let's talk about it. Let's open up about this quiet worry that we all hold on to. And let's please ask an expert so that we can figure out what's going on, or should I say, what's growing on. Hello, fellow grown-ups, and welcome to What's Growing On, the podcast about growing kids and growing questions. This is for every mom who juggles office meetings and bedtime stories, deadlines, dance class, sleepover drop-offs, for every parent just trying to bust myths, soothe those quiet, secret anxieties, and somehow keep up with picture-perfect reels of those well-meaning, superhuman PTA moms. Which is why we have called in some backup today. Joining me today is Dr. Mujahid Husain, who has survived, I think, every kind of parent panic, rant, and how is that kid so tall conspiracy theory. Hello, doctor, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Soha. I'm happy to be here.
So I really have to ask you, because I'm guilty of it too, but how often do you hear that, these two used to be the same height, whether they're friends, whether they're twins, and now he's way taller?
Every day, every time, especially in my day-to-day practice, it so happens that patient comes inside and they say, "Doctor, the child just you saw, how old is he?" 5 years, what happened? "He looks so tall." And I said, please stop comparing. Yeah, every child is unique. Then you should not compare, right?
I think that's just part of our parenting DNA, our playlist.
No, absolutely. I think every parent has his or her own expectations, but they should understand the fact that growth is not a straight line. Growth doesn't happen like this. There are spurts of growth. For example, an infant grows rapidly during first 1 year of life.
Yes.
So in fact, there is a concept called as first 1,000 days of life, where 80% of brain development is complete by 2 years, right? And then again 2 to 5 years, there's a growth spurt. Then again at 9 years. Then again at teenage. So these are the moments when you see the growth spurt happening. It's not a flat line. So parents must realize that we keep educating, but still, they come back and they still have some unrealistic expectations.
But what you're saying to me makes perfect sense, because my daughter is 7 now. And I feel like somewhere she stopped growing. Like I haven't bought a new pair of shoes for a while. And I keep wondering, because other people come, jab friends come over and they leave their chappals, their shoes outside. I'm like, all her friends' shoes are so big.
So big, what's happening with mine?
And eyes are still the same. So the fact that you say 9, I'll start panicking when she's 9, right?
You can. But the fact of the matter is, as you said, the chappal size, their clothing, everything, this keeps changing. And just because they're not growing for some period of time, they may have a constant height for a few months. It's not that they're not growing. There is under the surface growth happening in different. See, growth is not just about weight and height.
That's what I'm getting from you saying. So being taller or being heavier doesn't mean that you are healthier.
No, not at all. See, this Indian scenario, Indian parents are so obsessed about weight, height and breadth and all these things, because it is visible. It is there in front of your eyes, right?
Yes.
So, but what is more important is the child able to perform those activities which according to the age he should perform?
Right.
Climbing stairs, running, jumping, hand-eye coordination, and that kind of stamina. See, I've had so many occasions when mother comes and sits in the clinic and she has a long face and crying and sobbing. "Doctor Saab, mera beta, You're talking about the child who's been running around for the past frantically for the past 10 minutes, and I've been consciously looking at my, the fragile objects in my clinic. Oh, kya todega abhi? I tell them that, this is, weight and height is one parameter. It is important, yes. Their immunity, their milestones, their overall resilience, what they develop physically is very, very important.
So you're saying, like, when my daughter, for example, is climbing on the sofa and she's playing with Oreo, our dog, and she's showing off cartwheels in places where she should not be doing this, these are actually signs of growth.
Absolutely, absolutely. We don't consider that. A lot of parents don't consider that. They keep telling, and they use, in Indian scenario, underweight is weakness.
Yeah.
They say, my son is very weak. I said, he's weak. I'm sure he's going to run stairs up and down 10 times. Can you do that even once? No, he cannot. He might look underweight, but that's not necessarily the fact. We'll get to the numbers first.
Right.
But weakness is not the synonym with underweight.
It's so actually nice to have this conversation. I feel like I should have done this podcast a long time ago because it's relieving for me as a parent.
Oh, yes.
Because there are
Better late
times,
than never,
absolutely, I feel. But tell me, is it just the mothers or is it also the fathers?
Mostly mothers. I call mothers Mother India. I mean, they are emotional. They are like, I understand that pain. But yes, there are some fathers who are concerned. I would say, let's use the word parent. Fathers should not get disappointed. Okay, don't you have emotions or what? So, well, it's a universal problem. Yes, mostly mothers, probably because they're there, helping them eat.
Yeah, we're hands-on.
Hands-on, constantly monitoring, watching, and somewhere comparing, as I said, in own family, in their own extended family. My brother's son, my sister's son is still, 5 years, he's 20 kgs, and I've been trying to disillusion this for many, many years, but
I think we will get there, and I think conversations like this will definitely help.
Hopefully, yes.
So tell us what does growth mean? When it comes to growth, what exactly are we talking about? Because as you said, things that we can see like height, weight, those are things that we can see.
Absolutely, very interesting question. See, there is a lot of misinterpretation, a lot of misbeliefs when it comes to growth in Indian scenarios. So let's decode this, okay? Now, there are certain things I very categorically tell the parents, okay, look at them. They said, sir, he's very short. I look at the father, look at the mother. No, I mean, I honestly take this data, take their height and weight and all that.
But sometimes I go on an uncle or something.
Yeah, I know. And then I say, see, there are certain things you cannot control. What is this? Genetics.
Yes.
Now, my father, my grandfather, genes don't lie. I say genes don't lie, right? And there's another thing. You have an influence on, you have a control on. What is it? Nutrition.
Yes.
Sleep. Resting is very, very, very crucial.
Yes.
Every living being rests to come back and grow and transform itself, right? And physical activity.
And a lot of people don't understand how much sleep children need.
Absolutely.
They think जैसे हम लोग 8 घंटे सोते हैं, that 8 hours is enough for a growing child.
It is the most crucial thing for you to reboot, for you to restart. If I get into the topic of sleep, it is vast, it is humongous. How sleep transforms your entire bad experiences to good and helps you nourish and grow well, so many things. But parents don't realize that it's a cumulative effect of all these things, not just one thing. And a lot of parents are obsessed with only one particular food. Maybe we'll get into that in a while. But I'm talking about things you can control. And there is one more thing I just want to add here called as epigenetics, Soha. Genetics we don't have absolutely any control on. Epigenetics, there's a huge research going on in this space. What is it? In simple terms, if genes are your DNA, is your hardware. DNA sequence, nobody can change that. Epigenetics is software.
Right.
Now, epigenetics regulates your hardware by switching on and off certain genes.
Right.
That's why identical looking twins over the period of years may not look the same.
Interesting.
Why? Environment influences epigenetics.
Differently.
Your stress, your nutrition, your sleep, and every different parenting styles.
Right. I know, it's so true.
Yeah, influences that. So people don't realize this. They have a head-on comparison just by appearing as height and weight and things like that. See, so when it comes to height, it comes largely the bone growth, right? And when we talk about weight, especially in children, it's about muscle growth. So irrespective whether it is bone growth or muscle growth, both require a right mix of right nutrients.
Right.
And as I said, good rest like sleep and physical activity. So these things will eventually lead to the optimal growth and development.
I think that's so interesting. So there's not like one miracle growth hack recipe that we can turn to. There's sleep, there's physical exercise, there's broad nutrition, so many things that we need to look at.
Absolutely, yeah.
Interesting to know.
See, sometimes they stay at the same height for months together, and parents are so anxious and worried, and overnight their jeans are too short.
And of course, that'll happen just as soon as you've bought them, like a bunch of new jeans and new shoes, and they'll grow out of them overnight. I've experienced this. I feel like I want to open up like a donation drive just for clothes that have been worn perhaps exactly twice before I had to give them away. Really.
That's what I'm saying. During the slower growths, parents might not visibly see anything, but under the surface, there is still growth happening.
Yes.
Which eventually will be evident.
That's true.
If you patiently wait. Yeah.
So I think what I've understood from this is that it is not just about getting bigger, it's not about getting taller, but there are things that your body is capable of doing that perhaps it wasn't earlier, like climbing those stairs or running that length. And we can observe that.
No, that's what I mean. That's where you need to talk about the abilities, right? Talk about the bones, muscle coordination, how they grow best, and what kind of building blocks is required during this phase of growth.
Right.
So it's not only one parameter. A lot of things are involved here. Yeah.
And I'm assuming that a lot of it has to do with what you're eating.
Remember, our dadis used to say, "Jo khaoge, to mohi banoge."
My dad used to say a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean that you keep eating gobi, you look like gobi.
No.
You know, what they meant was your body, your nourishment is what makes your body, right?
Yes.
If you're all the time into junk, and you will fall sick, you'll be unhealthy, your immunity will go for a toss. So I think nourishment is very, very important, yeah.
I think that's so important, and because I'm one of those new age parents who really researches and speaks, and I want my child to be the best possible child that has ever existed. So I really focus a lot on Inaya's nutrition, for example, and I can see from when she was a toddler, you know, how she used to fall over all the time, and her push even was very soft and very squishy. And now, like when I pick her up, I can't pick her up so easily.
Absolutely.
When she pushes me, she can push back.
Yes.
And she also does gymnastics and a bunch of things. So she's really, I can see her growth.
That's right. That's their muscles developing, right? See, it's not about looking heavier or taller. It's about being confident to push a bucket full of water when you're not looking.
That's true.
On the floor, right?
Yeah, that's true. So we've talked a little bit about the bones, we've talked about muscles, we've talked about coordination and all the things that go into pushing that bucket of water. But the one thing that a lot of us obsess over is that building block of nutrition, which I'm assuming is key in growth. So you have to tell me, doctor, if bones need vitamin D, if they need calcium, if we know that muscles need protein, how do we make sure that they're getting these things, especially because between picky eating and after one bite saying, "Mama, I'm full," like it's very, very tough. Like the whole nutrition plan that we have, that we know, it goes out the window.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a challenge every mother or father faces at home. It's like the children get a sixth sense as to the most nutritious part of the plate will be out of the window.
Completely.
Right? Yeah, see, here is the thing. It's not only about nutritious meal, it's about balanced meal, right? Which keep educating parents, right? You know, they talk about some fruits, vegetables, this and that, protein, this and that, but it has to be balanced. So we're talking about height and weight and growth. Vitamin D, calcium, extremely important for height and to grow taller. And protein is excellent for muscle growth. And vitamin B for immunity and overall nourishment.
Right. So what I'm getting from you is that we shouldn't obsess so much that you've not finished your plate, that you're not having 3 meals a day, that you're trying to squeeze in those 1-2 glasses of milk. It's about a range of foods that you might be getting not in one meal, but perhaps even over the week, and all the diversity of things that are on your plate.
Yeah, absolutely. See, balanced meal, there is something called as RDA, recommended dietary allowance, right?
Right.
Now, not every parent would know that. They think, okay, he should, and let me tell you something, milk, they are so obsessed with milk. He's not eating anything, 1 glass of milk, he's full, and he's ready to go. No, it doesn't work that way. Child requires so much of protein, X amount of calcium, X amount of carbohydrates, X amount of vitamin D, so on and so forth, for him to have an optimal growth and development. So that is lacking in a lot of households because of either lack of awareness or some particular obsession with one particular food or some misbelief.
No, actually, even in school now, I'm very happy that the school, at least that my daughter's going to, they teach you about this rainbow of foods.
Exactly.
So even now we know that, all the colors you should be eating. Sometimes I look at my own plate and I see ispe to sirf yellow hai.
Right.
Sabzi mein yellow hai, dal yellow hai. So it's looking a little like it should be a little more vibrant, it should be a little more colorful. But tell me, when it comes to protein, talk to me about the protein in food and where we can get that from.
See, protein is something most crucial, indispensable nutrient in everybody's life, especially growing children's life, right? Now, there are different kinds of protein. We've got plant-based protein, like your dals, your lentils, so on and so forth. Then we've got dairy protein, which is called as complete protein because there are something called as amino acids. We have essential amino acids, which is not produced by human body, which has to be supplied to.
Right.
There are non-essential amino acids which we produce, right? The beauty of this protein, which I'm talking about, is whey protein, is it has got all essential amino acids.
It's weird because you said whey protein and I immediately thought of like my husband at the gym. And I do not associate a child and whey at all.
Absolutely. No, this is the myth going around.
Okay.
This is the moment we talk about whey, they say, "Arey, this is for those bodybuilders."
Yes.
No. See, whey protein has the beauty of whey protein is it's a complete protein. It's a fast protein. It has got a high biological value.
Okay.
What does it mean? It is significantly available for your system to utilize, right? And one more beauty is, let me add a little medical terminology and expert knowledge here. It has got branch chain amino acids, something called as leucine, among those essential amino acids. So whey is wonderful. Whey is wonderful for growth, recovery, muscle development, and overall, eventually, it helps the child grow taller and also gain some weight.
And what are some sources of whey protein?
See, dairy is the best source of whey protein, right? And let me tell you, I don't know whether you know or not. Probably so far you've been throwing your whey out. That cloudy, creamy water which separates from paneer.
Yes.
Or sometimes for the curd, that is your whey.
So I've been pouring all of that good muscle power down the drain.
Yes. Not just you, many mothers out there.
Yeah, I'm sure if I'm doing it, then you're doing it as well. So we need to stop wasting the magic paneer water.
Yes. So,
okay.
Yeah, so absolutely. So whey is an absolute protein powder in terms of growth and muscle recovery. It helps in muscle recovery as well.
So Dr. Syed, now that we've covered the way to grow, this is my favorite section actually of the podcast, which is a section called Fad or Fact, brought to you by Nestlé NANGROW. And we bust some myths here. So all the advice that we get, all the information that we think that we know, when we have an expert, what better than to actually have you tell us whether it's true or false. Okay? So welcome to Fad or Fact, brought to you by Nestlé NANGROW, where we put common parenting perceptions to the ultimate test. So there's a lot for us to sort through between all the advice that we get on Instagram, from WhatsApp groups, from our parenting circles. So let's sift fact from fiction. Should we start?
Yeah, absolutely. This is something interesting, yeah.
So here we grow. Myth number 1, whey protein is only for people who work out, and I think I know the answer.
Very big myth, and it's a fad. See, this assumption, this misconception is there everywhere. Whey protein is a very high quality protein, as I said. It's a complete protein, it's a fast protein. It is excellent for growing children because it helps in muscle growth, recovery, and overall growth and nourishment.
Okay, so I think we found the way forward to supporting healthy growth, which brings me to myth number 2. That, and this is something that I really want to know, is it okay? And the myth is that it is okay to skip breakfast once in a while.
A big no-no. It's a myth. See, breakfast is your first meal of the day, right? And your child should be energized with the right nourishment to run the entire day, because the child has such a high metabolism. And you cannot match a toddler's energy, right? And obviously, skipping breakfast or replacing that with a glass of milk or anything you feel is okay is wrong. Breakfast is absolutely a non-negotiable.
In our household too, it is non-negotiable. Yeah. And I really feel it sets us up for the day. So myth number 3, playing outdoors is just for fun.
No, absolutely no. It's a myth. Playing outdoors is absolutely crucial for their muscle growth, for their bone growth, because vitamin D is essential when they go on outside. And also, see, for calcium absorption, vitamin D is very essential. So as I mentioned about signs of growth, we should look for this physical activity development, what they're able to perform when they're playing, right? Are they able to do better than previously? So physical activity is absolutely non-negotiable. It is the way we say exercise for us, it is a natural way of exercise for children.
You're right. And again, like I make sure that Inaya plays outside for at least an hour a day. I feel it helps her to sleep well at night also.
Absolutely.
It tires her out.
Yes.
It's a stress buster. There's so many things that she's learning through play as well. So for me, I feel like it's about building a kind of rhythm, if I'm not wrong, with the right food. It's not just ticking boxes on a diet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Vitamin D is very crucial, and let me tell you something. Children who somehow, for some reason, not able to spend good amount of time outside under the sunlight, there are alternatives. There are fortified vitamin D milk. There are fortified vitamin D supplements because the kind of lifestyles we live currently, concrete jungles, and there is no exposure. So this is an additional choice parents have to nourish their kids.
I have not met a single Indian person who has enough vitamin D in their bodies.
68%, if I'm not wrong, Indians lack vitamin D.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
especially in growing children, that's so crucial because along with your growth and height, it's also an immunity builder, right?
No, you're so right. And I think that what this conversation has really illuminated for me is that I honestly used to measure growth, like the signs of growth for me for height and weight. And now I'm thinking about all the things that we do when we're playing. When I see her hanging on those monkey bars at school for just a bit longer when I'm saying, it's time to go home. But she's hanging, she's holding her strength, she's running a little bit longer without losing breath faster, jumping more easily. So many things that she's doing that I'm not appreciating. But now after this conversation, I think I really am appreciating.
Absolutely, as you mentioned rightly, the signs of growth, right? So they hand in coordination, they're running, jumping, climbing stairs, and as you said, they're able to do the same task for a bit longer than earlier.
Yes.
Speaks volumes about their growth and development.
So I love it. I think that I'm leaving this episode with fewer worries, more perspective, and a concrete game plan, which every parent loves. So that was it for today's What's Growing On. Here is to celebrating the little wins that show our kids are growing strong and healthy. And thank you so much, Dr. Syed, for making this conversation truly easy and insightful.
Thank you so much, Soha, for having me, and indeed, amazing conversation.
Thank you.